What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Another day, another video. And today we are doing test hands. We'll do like one or two test hands with the deck. This is going to be the Dracotail branded K9 list that I posted a few days ago. I stand behind this list, man. It's pretty solid. I really like it. It fits my play style. You can do a lot with it, and you can explode. You can make cool big boards. You can play mid-range, and yeah, I like it a lot. But I wanted to do some combo tutorial videos, but unfortunately the way this deck is, you actually need 2 or 3 cards to actually get things going. And I thought it would be just more advantageous to just do a few test hands, show you my thought process, and we'll just go from there. So the deck's been shuffled up, cut, and let's see what we're working with. So we got a Malulu, got an Ash Blossom, a Lucius, a Zuna, and a Dracotail Horn. So honestly, right now, we have the Spheres combo, depending if our opponent has anything that they can, stop us with. And if they do, we have a Zuna. But we're just gonna play as if our opponent has nothing, because once we start going into interactions, then, things get a little convoluted. But if they do, we have a Zuna. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna start out with the Lucius. So we're gonna summon Lucius, Lucius effect. We're just gonna assume it goes through. And we'll go ahead and add our Phimina. Shuffle it up, keep it fair. Oh, there we go. All right, so the cool thing is right now we actually have access to the Spheres combo that I posted a few days ago. Because like I said, you only need the Lucius, a way to get to Phimina, and another 1 or 2 monsters in your hand. And we have that already. So we're gonna turn the Lucius into the Spirit with Eyes of Blue. We'll use the Phimina using the Ash Blossom and the Malulu from our hand, sending it to the graveyard to make Altherion. Now you're probably wondering, yo, why are you sending your Ash Blossom? That's a good hand trap, you need to keep that. Well, Altherion, whenever you use monsters from your hand, you can add from the graveyard or field back to the hand or extra deck up to the amount that you used from hand. So since we used 2, we can bounce 2 cards back. So we're gonna go Chainlink 1 Altherion, and we're gonna target our Phimina, and we're gonna target our Ash Blossom. And then Chainlink 2, we're gonna use Malulu. And since there's no monster to negate, we're just gonna go ahead and set. So Malulu effect is set. And we are going to set our Rahu Dracotail. And then resolving the chain, we're gonna go ahead and add our Phimina and Ash Blossom back to our hand. So we really didn't lose anything in that exchange. Now, before we activate the Rahu, which is gonna lock us into fusion summoning, we're gonna go ahead and link these 2 away and make our spheres. Now, the one thing is this combo does fall more into nib, but even if they do nib you, you still have this being tributed, and you can summon out in a Malulu from your deck and just combo off from there. And then again, you have a Zuna, so you can just keep going. But now that we have the seals on board, we're gonna go ahead and use Rahu. We're gonna use the Phimina from hand because we only use the effect to discard to fuse. We haven't used its send to graveyard effect. So we're gonna use Phimina, and we're going to use Urgula. These are the main 2 that I like to send in conjunction together, because Urgula can just add back your Phimina off of its effect. So right now, let's shuffle up, and then we're gonna go ahead and make our Golomel. Now right here, we're gonna stack our chain links. So you can either use the Altherion now, which I wouldn't recommend doing because you have no reason to, or you can just save it for your opponent's turn, just in case they keep interrupting your Golomel and they end up linking 2 monsters off. This will trigger, which will trigger your Golomel to basically non-target pop a card on the field. So I like to leave this in here. There's no point of using it at the moment. But we'll go Chainlink 1 Phimina and Chainlink 2 Urgula to set. So Phimina, we're just gonna go ahead and set the Ketu. And then Urgula, we're gonna go ahead and set one of our traps. And if you saw in our starting hand, we already had one of the traps in hand. So we're kind of ahead of the game. All right. Now we have a Dracotail Flame set. We have a Ketu set. And then in our hand, we have the Azuna, the Dracotail Horn, and the Ash Blossom. Now from here, to maintain card economy and recursion, we're going to use the Urgula effect to put it at the bottom of the deck to add Femina back to our hand. So that means we have another quick fuse during our opponent's turn. And now we're going to go ahead and activate Ketu to add, what I like to add here would be a Pan, because again, this is a pop, it's an interruption. So whenever we need to use the Femina, we can go ahead and send the Pan and another card from our hand or from the field to make a fusion monster, and then we can pop a card on the field as well. Because if you read Dracotail Pan, blah, 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 blah. Where did it go? If this card sends a graveyard as fusion material, you can set one Dracotail or spell or trap, and then destroy one monster on the field, none targeting. So, super sick. But yeah, so we're right here right now. And now we can go ahead and put this in the graveyard. We activated that. And we'll just go ahead and set our horn. And then this is how our hand is set up currently. So off the hand that we started with, we ended with a Spheres, a Golemel, the Horn, the Flame. We have Pan and Femina in our hand that we used and added back. We also have our Altherion that can trigger when our opponent, let's say they fusion summon or they link summon, or let's say we get super polyed and these two go away. We can still bring out our Altherion and then use it with the Femina to just keep comboing off as well. So that's kind of sick. It's kind of cool that I was able to show off the Heavenly Spheres combo with the cards that we had. But again, this is another reason why I really like using the Azuna, the small K9 engine in the deck, because it just adds another layer of interruption. It's a super small 4-card engine. If you haven't seen it, it's posted. You can just go ahead and watch it. But yeah, that's pretty solid. Sick. And then we had Ash Blossom and Azuna for backup. So yeah, we would have maintained really good card economy while making a pretty solid board. And honestly, I always go for the Spheres combo. If it's open to me, if I don't get interrupted along the way, like there's no reason if you're going first not to go for the Spheres combo. Nib isn't really seeing as much play as it normally is. And again, even if you do get nibbed, you have so much follow-up, and then your Spheres getting tributed will just summon out a Malulu from your deck, and then you can just keep comboing off from there. But let's shuffle up again, and let's draw our 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now here is one of the hands that I don't believe we can get to the Spheres combo, but we can try. So what we're going to do is we're going to normal summon Lucius. Lucius effect, I feel you always should be adding Femina as your first add, because just in case you do get drolled, you have good interaction going into the following turn. So we have Femina. And I think we do. I think we have the Spheres combo again. So we'll just shuffle up, put that there. Now, if this goes through, if there's no droll and lock, we're going to go Ketu. And remember when I said the main thing that I like to pitch off as early as possible, if we're using the Femina, is going to be the Urgula with the Femina, because that's your recursion. You can just add it back. All right, that's going to go here. And then from here, again, we're just going to go Lucius into Spirit with Eyes of Blue. And now we're going to use the Femina effect using Urgula and Ash Blossom going into our Altherion. Now we're going to go Altherion Chainlink 1. We're going to target the Ash Blossom and the Femina. Chainlink 2, we're going to go Urgula. So we're going to go Urgula effect to set. So since we already have the Rahu and the Ketu, we can go right into the traps. So ideally, I feel Flame is a little stronger than the Horn. Flame is the spell negate. So we got Flame right there. And now we're going to add the Phymena and the Ash Blossom back to our hand, thanks to Altherion. And then before we get fusion locked by activating the Rahu, we're going to link these two away, and we're going to go ahead and make our Heavenly Spheres. Now that we have the Phymena in our hand that hasn't used its graveyard effect yet, we're going to go ahead and activate Rahu using the Phymena. And then we can go ahead and dump the Pan, since Urgula is in grave already. And then Pan's effect is whenever a fusion monster is destroyed, you can summon out one of your non-fusion Dracotail monsters. So it lets you summon back out your Lucius, so you can get more follow-up, because its effect is whenever it's normal summon or special summoned. But we're going to fuse those away and go into our Golemel. And then we're going to go into our chain links. We're going to go chain link 1 Phymena, chain link 2 Pan. And then since we already have one of the traps, we can just go ahead and set up for the following turn. So we're going to set the other trap, which is going to be Horn. And then we're going to go ahead and set our more follow-up. So we started off with Ketu. We have a Ketu in hand. So let's just go ahead and set a Rahu for our following turn. Shuffle up, put that over here. And then remember, don't forget your Urgula effect that we used earlier in the turn. We're gonna go Urgula to shuffle, not shuffle back, but put it back at the bottom of the deck. We're gonna add back the Phymena, so we have follow-up during the next turn. So put Urgula back. And then this is gonna be our end board. So we have the Altherion in grave, because we want layers. We want layers of interruption whenever possible. Because the unfortunate thing with Golemel is it has to respond directly to a Dracotail card or effect. So let's say you activate Flame, and unfortunately these two can be interrupted by everything. Can be interrupted by Ash Blossom, can be interrupted by a Dominus Purge, can be interrupted by a Ghost Spell, because it draws you a card and it puts a card from the graveyard back into the deck. So if they have any interruption for these, unfortunately this won't be able to trigger. But if they link summon and they don't have anything following the link summon, you can chain the Altherion and then go to the Golemel to pop a card on the field. And then we also have the Heavenly Spears that can either summon out your, let's go through it. You can either summon out Malulu, or if they have an extra deck monster on board, you can summon out the Albaz, because we are playing a small branded engine in here as well. So these are the two main targets you're gonna summon out after Seals has been tributed. So depending on the board, these are your two options. Since we already have the Phymena in hand to start gaining more advantage, you can either just summon this and discard one card out of your hand. I would recommend probably the Ash Blossom, maybe, or the Ketu. Always keep this available when possible. But we're also going to get more draws by using the Horn and the Flame, because whenever we put one of our Dracotail monsters or cards to the bottom of the deck, we draw a card. So we're always going to try to maintain card economy. So the Albaz will always have a discard, and the Malulu will always have a target to fuse into, because we still have another Altherion in the extra deck. But yeah, pretty sick. So this is my thought process. This is what I would do with certain card combinations. And yeah, I hope this helps. Again, it's really hard to do combo tutorials because the deck is pretty open-ended. You can do a lot with a different combination of cards, pretty much. And that's why I like the deck so much, because there's no cookie cutter way to play it. And yeah, if you have any questions, concerns, any improvements of the lines that I did, feel free to comment down below. But yeah, I appreciate y'all, and later. Peace.